Welcome to Side Hustle Rules. My name is Lou Reyes. In this video, you'll discover the secret strategy that led Caleb Kennedy to launch his gym with guaranteed cash flow from day one. And yes, you did hear me right, a new business with guaranteed cash flow from day one. You know, I've seen many new businesses struggle. Unfortunately, I've witnessed a few that failed. But Caleb's savvy approach, well, it does set him apart. So join us today as Caleb shares his journey, his insights, and his future plans. He's going to also offer up what I know are invaluable lessons for every aspiring entrepreneur. That's all up next, right after this break. Come on! So I'm sitting with Caleb Kennedy. Caleb owns Kennedy Health and Fitness, and I asked him to tell us how to go about opening a fitness studio.
So my journey starting my own gym started in 2020. I actually worked at the tennis club right behind this building, and during 2020, COVID happened, the gym shut down. And unfortunately, the tennis club at the time flooded. So, water got all the way up to the tops of the tennis nets, and I was training people outside next to actually a dumpster, and it was summertime. The dumpster started to stink, so I had nowhere to train. But I had a clientele base and nowhere to train. So I was looking around, and I just found a spot in North Olmsted, which was a 1,200 square foot facility, and I took a chance, and that was, June of 2020, I opened up, and, 3 years later, we outgrew that place and recently moved into this location in North Ridgeville, which is about double the size. So we've been here since January 2nd, and, so far, so good.
What's been your biggest challenge?
I would say the biggest challenge would be learning how to be a business owner. I was just a trainer. I went to college for athletic training, so I worked with the sports teams all the time, learning how to deal with, doctors, physical therapists, and that sort of thing. But I never learned how to be a business owner, so I didn't know anything about taxes, didn't know anything about, having employees. So that was a learning curve. Once I started the business, learning all those things, like all the stuff that's outside actually training clients, that was like the biggest challenge for me.
So you had a customer base established already?
Yeah, I would say at the time I had about 30 to 40 clients. And since then we've grown to over 100 clients. So I needed a bigger facility. And now it's, now that I have a bigger facility, the goal is to fill this gym to max capacity. And if things go well, there's actually an extra 1,000 feet of space to grow right next door. So, since I've moved here in January, we've had over 30 signups. So, if the pace keeps going the way it is, hopefully by, let's say, August of this year, that we're going to, grow an extra 1,000 feet, and then we can expand how many people we have per session here.
When you were deciding to open in this location, what was the one thing, or was there multiple things that helped you to decide to open here?
Well, the first thing that happened is Dave over at Equinox that you just interviewed earlier. He gave me, the little heads up, like, hey, there's a location available over here. And like I said earlier, I previously worked at the tennis club behind here. So a lot of my clientele was already in North Ridgeville, and I was over in North Olmsted. Okay. So it seemed like a good fit for me to move back here. And the space was big enough, and the owner here, Eric, which he's been a tremendous helped me build out the space.
In terms of your studio, what kind of an investment does it take to open up a studio to serve, what did you say, like 100 clients?
Yeah. So over 100 clients a month. I would say the biggest investment is the equipment. So luckily, before I actually opened up my own facility, I was slowly buying my own equipment over time. So I bought a bunch of kettlebells, I bought a bunch of dumbbells, I had a squat rack. I had equipment to move. So if you don't have that equipment up front, I would say your biggest investment is the equipment itself. You look around this room, like the squat rack plus just the benches themselves is over 10 grand. So you got to have a little bit of money up front. And then, you got to think of the monthly rent of the space, plus hiring a trainer, plus if you're paying for any type of marketing or equipment that breaks, that stuff starts to add up over time. So there's a certain amount of money that you should expect to pay every month just to kind of break even, and then anything over that is your profit. So, like I said, the biggest thing is probably the equipment first, and then what's your overhead for the space.
Well, you mentioned a little bit about marketing. How do you market your business? How do you get the word out?
My biggest marketing is word of mouth at this point. Like you get clients' results. If you get clients' results, they talk.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest marketing strategy. I would say my biggest, like, at least you're talking about social media, is Facebook. So, if I post before and after pictures of clients getting results, or, they post it themselves, all their friends see it. So I actually utilize my clients a lot to push the brand, get more clients in, and then I have a referral system like, hey, you send me clients, I help you out financially by, maybe I'll give you free sessions, or, anything along those lines. So, you reward people for referring, clients to you, and you do a really good job. That's how you grow the gym over time. And it's slow. Like, I mean, it's not all about numbers. You want the quality clients. You want the clients that, if they're getting results, they're happy with what you're doing at the gym. That's where it's like a slow build. And it kind of, up to this point, it was a slow build, and now it seems like it's like steamrolling, where there's a lot of people getting results, there's a lot of people talking about it, and then all of a sudden it just kind of grows that way.
For you, what would you say has been the biggest challenge, though, like overall? I mean, it had to be scary because you were a trainer, then you became a business owner. What was the biggest challenge that you had?
The biggest challenge would, I guess, staying consistent and staying confident, because there's the gym is an ebb and flow. So certain times of the year it can be really busy, it can be slow, busy, slow. So it's all about being consistent and always just showing up, like, no matter what, like, and believe in what you're doing is the right thing. So, I opened up during COVID 2020, where if you started at a gym that was like, I guess, like, new, like it was scary, I would say. It was scary. Not a lot of people wanted to try something new, so like I really wasn't building a big clientele base during COVID. But once the lockdowns ended, all of a sudden people were more willing to try a new gym, like being around people again. So once COVID ended, that's when I started to see like a big influx of clients coming in. So it was just being consistent. Like you got to believe in what you're doing is right. And it's just, staying on that path long enough to where you start to see the success. It's like investing money in the stock market. Like, you don't see, any gains at the beginning, but you just keep showing up and keep putting in the work. All of a sudden, you start to see that interest pay off.
And you mentioned, okay, you started after COVID. Did you give an incentive? I mean, a dollar incentive? Did you say, hey, I've got this program half off, $10 off?
What I normally do is, like, somebody walks in the door, I offer a free, like, one-on-one session. So you get to meet me. I do, like, a physical evaluation with you. And then I offer a couple free training sessions with the group. So you really get a chance to meet me with that one-on-one session. And then you get an opportunity to try out the gym in a group setting. And then if you really like it, then I offer, like, okay, this is what our package deals are. This is what you pay. This is how it works. And then we kind of go from there. So I really let you decide early on before you ever actually buy it if this is something you want to do. Because I don't want you to have buyer's remorse. You buy it and then regret doing it. So, like, I give you those opportunities to really try it out, make sure it's a good fit for you. And then at that point, you can make a decision what you want to do.
Now, are folks signing up for a monthly program, a weekly program per session?
So how I do it, there's no memberships here. I just sell training packages. So, the best deal I have, well, the more you buy, the more sessions you buy, the cheaper it is. So the best deal I have is it's 12 sessions for $240. So it ends up, every time you walk in the door, it's $20 a session. There's no expiration date. There's no, once you buy a package, it's yours. So, like, let's say you go on vacation, you're sick, you just don't sign up for class, and it just rolls on to the next month. So I don't hold you to any long-term contracts. It's just you buy the package, it's yours, you use it when you want. Most people come in to see me 2-3 times a week, and then once your package is up, it just, it renews, and then it goes on to the next session.
If someone was a person wanting to start a business like yours, a fitness studio, what would be the minimum amount of investment that you feel that they have to make or should make? Financially, I'm talking.
I mean, it really depends on the size of the studio and what equipment that you want to use. So every gym is different. Like, what is your niche? So like if you're a calisthenics only gym, you don't use any equipment, then don't need anything. For me, the main equipment that I use is kettlebells, dumbbells, benches, and squat racks. So depending on how many clients you have per session, you got to multiply that. So it really all depends on how many clients you have, what equipment you want to use. For here, I would say like moving over from a small location to a bigger location, I had to buy a bigger squat rack, more benches. Those benches and squat racks were $10,000 just there.
Wow.
So, and then plus anything extra. So just think like the bare minimum was 10 grand to buy equipment, and then the moving fees, and then anything extra. So.
Are you profitable?
Yes. Yes. Definitely more profitable now. My overhead is more, but since the beginning of the year, like I said, we've had 30 plus new clients in here, so that adds to the monthly revenue. But with more clients, I have to pay trainers more.
Yeah.
I'm already thinking about moving to a bigger, or expanding out to a bigger location. So as I reach a certain monthly income, I'm already thinking like, okay, what's the next step? How can I expand it more? So eventually, my goal is to have 2 to 4 clients working, or 2 to 4 trainers working underneath me, and I'm just an overseer, and I'm watching. I'm just making sure the gym's running properly. So that's the ultimate goal, is for me to step back, get off the training floor a little bit and be an overseer. So, with that, that's gonna cost more, but in the long run, like, it gives me more freedom to do other things. So,
is there any advice, or could you give advice to somebody out there who is interested in opening up a studio? Is there one bit of advice that you've learned since you started this right after COVID?
I would say the biggest advice I would give is just to read every day. Something, so for me, something related to fitness, whether it's be, learning new training protocols, learning things about nutrition, learning things about mindset. Spend a little time every day just reading and continually educating yourself, so you stay, up to date on the current trends. Or, if somebody asks you about, Ozempic, like what is that? Like, what's your advice on this? You have to have, you want to try to have a piece of advice for anything, somebody asks you, or if you don't know that advice, try to go out and search for that advice. My recommendation is just to read every day, constantly learning. I got my undergraduate degree. I went to grad school, and you think you know everything when you get done with school, but that is just the starting point. I knew nothing at the time when I was starting my own business, and I've slowly had to learn along the way to where I'm at now, and I feel like I'm starting to get a grasp on how to run a gym. But let's say 10 years from now, I'll really know how to do it. So it's just every day, just a little bit more. Try to learn, and then over time, that's how you become successful.
Is there one thing that one more bit of advice that you could say to somebody? Don't do this.
I would say maybe don't bite off more than you can chew. So don't lease, or don't like rent a space that is like too big too soon. Start off small and then slowly get bigger over time. So that's what I started off. I started with a 1,200 square foot facility, and now this is 2,000 square foot. If things go really well here, then the goal is to make it more 3,000 square feet. So just a little bit over time. You don't get the 5,000 square foot facility if you have no one to train there. Yeah. Because then you're just going to close down in a few months. You got to slowly build up that clientele base and have my clients are basically fans of the product now, and they talk about it, they hype it up, they enjoy what they're doing. So. You got to have that clientele base first, that they're going to be there, and then slowly build it up over time.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to take your time, to start small, start slow. You started with a client base, though, which was a huge help. Huge help. Yeah, and when I started at the tennis club, I started with 0 clients. Yeah. So there was my first day out of grad school, I had none.
So basically, I was sitting up there all day waiting for somebody to talk to, or the head tennis pro at the time to say, "Hey, you can go back there and do a session with them." Yeah. So I started with 0, and then I built it up, and then that's when I was confident enough to okay, I can just see what happened if I open up my own facility. It ended up being the best decision I've ever made. Come on.